It's fun.
All right, what's up, everyone? I'm Jeremy Drake. This is episode 2 of Behind the Hustle, where I interview creators, small business owners, and entrepreneurs. With that being said, I'm joined here today by Mason Brown, aka The Side Grind. We're basically complete strangers. I hit him up pretty much a week ago. I came across his TikTok, which is I think around 170K right now, or pretty close to it. He has views on that particular video that I saw is like up in the 3 million range. He's hitting the YouTube game. He's doing the Instagram thing. And I was really impressed. So I really wanted to talk to him and just kind of hear his story and all that kind of stuff. So without further ado, Mason, take it away. Give us an intro, man.
Hey, I really appreciate you having me. Yeah, like you said, I'm completely new to this. And one thing I want to make sure that I do is I don't want to seem like an expert in everything, because I'm not. So that's one thing I relate to when I'm listening to new people. I don't like them to come straight out of nowhere and then start telling me everything I need to do, because I don't find that relatable. So
yeah, it's
first things first, I just want to be a relatable person and let everybody know that I'm starting from zero. So a little bit about me. I'm from a small town called Glencoe in northeast Alabama. I'm 22. Cool. Yeah, I'm 22 years old, and I just graduated from college. So
nice.
Yeah, I moved back in with my parents, and I'm working in a family business, and I'm just trying to start from zero, do a little thing on the side, and we'll see what happens.
Okay, that's cool, man. How was as far as college and stuff? How was your experience there?
It was good. I had a business management degree and studied a bunch of stuff that I was interested in. We had a lot of entrepreneurship classes, so I got into that. I would have technically had a minor, but it wasn't approved until after I left. But I enjoyed taking a lot of entrepreneurship classes and stuff like that. I played football while I was there, so I was pretty busy. I didn't get to do as much as I wanted to, like, apart from school.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. So it sounds like there's definitely a trend as far as like the entrepreneur stuff. You were in the business stuff. Your family has their own business as well?
Yes, it's ran by my dad. It's kind of a generational thing with my granddad and my dad. It's a machine shop, yeah. Okay,
that's pretty cool. So yeah, it's in the blood then, right?
Yeah. I've always looked at them as hard workers, and I guess it's rubbed off on me.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So you did the college thing, and you're already graduated. That's under your belt. That's pretty sick. You know what I mean? Because you have that as a fail-safe, so to speak, and a foundation and all that kind of stuff. That's pretty smart. Did you go straight to university right after high school?
Yeah, I went to it's a small liberal arts school, Berry College.
Okay, cool.
And I went there for 4 years, and I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do when I was. Yeah. I knew I was interested in business, but I wasn't quite sure what kind of job. And then I guess around my junior year, after I was talking to my dad about it, I started thinking about just working for the family business. And while everybody was, applying for jobs, working on their resumes real hard, I kind of knew what I wanted to do. And when people asked me, and I was just like, I'm just going to go work for my family business, they'd be like, oh, okay, I guess that's all right,
Sure.
But yeah, I saw a lot of potential there, and also a lot of freedom to do other things on the side too.
Yeah, I think that's probably one of the best parts as far as the freedom aspect of it. You know what I mean? Is entrepreneurship in general. You're not tied down to one thing. You can kind of move, different places if you ever want to.
Yeah, and it's
cool.
My dad supports me too, so I think it's really awesome to have supportive parents, because I think that is a big struggle with a lot of people.
Oh, 100%, yeah. And that helps because they come from that entrepreneur background in a way, so then they probably understand where it's coming from in a sense.
Right, yeah.
An unrelated question, man. Where's the troll?
What's that?
Where's the troll, man?
Hold on, let me get it.
All right.
Got it right here.
There it is.
You remembered.
Oh, yeah, man. That was legit. I thought that was too funny, man. When it was on the fan and stuff going around, I was like, nice.
Yeah. I'm trying to make my videos more entertaining. I kind of look back at them. I'm like, I don't want to just talk in front of this ugly green wall. I got to add something to it. So I think my videos will get better.
I like the direction you're going. So for me, I'll give you a little background on me as well. I'm 30 years old. I have been in a career of law enforcement and military. I've been in law enforcement for probably about the last 8 years. It'll be 8 years in January. And then I've been in the military for about 6. So it's kind of interesting, man. I don't come from this world, so to speak, as far as like creators, entrepreneurship, all that kind of stuff. I had a background in sales. I worked at Best Buy for like 5 years before I was in law enforcement. But it's interesting just because when I grew up and stuff, the way I grew up, single mom, out in California, Section 8 apartments, it wasn't the best environment, you know? And then growing up in high school, it was just like there was this really critical point where, you know, I graduated and then I graduated high school diploma. The high school I initially went to, they basically came up to me and were like, yo, you're not going to graduate. You're not going to walk, you know, because I didn't have like attendance. It was really bad and stuff. I didn't have enough credits. So I was like, all right, well, what do I do? They said, well, you're 18. You can go to an adult education and get your diploma still. I was like, all right, cool. So I did that, and it was interesting because that was like this switch where I was like, oh no, if I don't do something now and change things, then I'm probably not going to enjoy the rest of my life, you know, so to speak.
Yeah.
So then it was weird. I just flipped the switch, graduated a week before everyone else did, which was interesting, you know, because they essentially just gave you all the work that you were missing, and then they let you go through it and then test out of each class. So I was like, oh, this is weird. I graduated a week before everyone, and then now was on to, you know, chase some sort of career or whatever. Got into law enforcement and did the military too on top of that. And it was interesting just because that foundation has led me to this point now where, you know, money it's cool and all. And the things that have come from being in law enforcement and the military have been great because I've had a chance to travel. I bought a house and stuff at a pretty young age. Especially coming from my background, it was interesting. But now I'm in this space where I'm like, I don't know. And this is kind of like more personal opinion, like some of the inefficiencies of, you know, maybe government or whatever the case. I'm like, man, I want to do stuff my own way in some sort of, you know, aspect, you know?
For sure.
So, and then I see like a lot of this entrepreneur stuff. I was in sales before at Best Buy, and it's definitely intriguing, especially in this day and age where, you know, you take someone like yourself, you're going out there, you're doing this flip game and all that kind of stuff. And then there's tons of people. I mentioned to you before in our comments that my mom does that as well. She does Poshmark and eBay and all that kind of stuff. And I'm sure you probably know some other people that do it as well. And that's just one little thing. You know what I mean? Just the resale game or the flip life. And then there's all sorts of other avenues. So it's interesting. I'm in this period in my life where I'm like, okay, let's maybe start making some moves based off of something that I want versus a survival thing. Because at that point in my life, I had to make decisions for survival and to sustain myself instead of maybe making the choices based off of what I actually wanted as a person, you know?
Right. Something interesting you said, I want to bring back up. I think it's real important to my life too. You're talking about like a switch that flips all of a sudden. Like, I think I know what you're talking about, but like, can you explain like what causes that and what it is?
Oh, well, for me, as far as that switch, man, I had, and I kind of like alluded to it in the sense that like it was a survival thing because, again, I grew up with my mom and loved my mom to death. She worked very hard, you know, and all that kind of stuff. But obviously, you grow up with your parents. You see some opportunities, maybe things they did, and that you want to do different. So I knew at that time, I was like, well, if I don't change, then I'm probably going to live paycheck to paycheck. It's going to be a very difficult life, money-wise and all that kind of stuff. And in my situation too, family-wise, like it's weird. It's kind of interesting. Like my grandparents are Christian missionaries, so they don't make any money. It's just essentially, and my mom wouldn't be in a position to be able to help me financially when I was that young. And so I realized, I was like, oh, I'm by myself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I was like I had to make a move, you know, really quick. And again, that's why I think it was just out of that survival aspect. I didn't really have anyone like pushing me as far as like, hey, you know, go do this career, go to school, go whatever. I kind of found out a lot of that. Like no one in my family's in law enforcement. No one in my family's in military. So it's kind of interesting. I kind of navigated that stuff out of that survival mode, you know.
I really appreciate your service, by the way.
Oh, hey, no worries, man. It was a good time. It's been fun.
Yeah. Well, I definitely I see that switch in my past too, and like it's just sometimes you just kind of like wake up and you're just like, okay, what's my next, like I know what my next step is going to be, so I'm just going to take it no matter what the consequences are going to be or what the holdbacks are. So yeah, I think there's a lot to that.
There's definitely another thing that I've noticed too is being uncomfortable is probably like the best thing in the world.
Oh, for sure. I don't even feel comfortable talking to you right now, like on a podcast. I don't know who's gonna listen to this. Like, it's kind of a scary thing, and putting a video camera in front of my face, it's just weird.
Sure. Yeah, but it is weird.
It's also like super fun just starting from zero, because I know I'm gonna look back at this in a few years and just be like, oh, that is super cringy. Watch those videos, but like there's something authentic about like watching somebody that's hit it big on YouTube or something, and then going back and watching their first videos, and it's just, you know, not great equipment or anything like that. But they're just starting. So and that's what I want to do. Like I'm okay that I don't have the best equipment and stuff like that, but like it's better than putting nothing out, you know.
Yeah, correct. I feel like that's a big part of it. You know, just doing that whole thing and starting, and it's interesting because, like I said, I'm not from this world, and then just like I could chill and be very comfortable where I'm at and just finish my career out law enforcement, do the whole military thing. And then it's funny because those worlds are very structured and very rigid. So, and you don't necessarily get a chance to be creative. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then this whole world too, like YouTube, and it's so like not at the forefront of those industries' minds. You know what I mean?
Right.
So which is really interesting. So I feel like it too, once, because I have plans too, like I have things set up where I'm probably going to quit here pretty soon, you know, and then there's going to be a lot of people like, what do you mean you're quitting? You know what I mean?
What? You can't do
that.
Yeah,
exactly. And then especially if I'm like, I'm just going to be like on YouTube and Instagram and TikTok and whatever, like, you know what I mean? They're going to be like, wait a minute, what? You're crazy, you know, especially because it comes from an older mindset of, you know, okay, high school, college, career, retirement, and die, and that's your only option. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like
living for the weekends and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly, man. And it's not for me in that sense. And then there was one thing a guy said. He was in the military, and he told me, he was like, because again, like when I bring it up to people, they're like, what about your retirement and stuff? And the retirement is like really good. Like it's a legit retirement. But he said, he's like, well, is that how much you're worth? You know what I mean? That dollar amount in terms of retirement, is that how much you're worth? You know what I mean? Because in my career field, I can't speak for everyone, but there's definitely some people that, you know what I mean? They're burned out, and they're like, they're just counting down the years, you know what I mean, to retirement and stuff. And I'm like, I don't want to do that, man. I really don't, you know? And
then you retire, and then you might want to start doing something again because you realize you don't like not doing anything.
Correct, you know? So I'm like, well, I might as well just do it now. Shoot, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's cool. I have a few other questions. So for you personally, some inspirations and stuff that kind of led you to do this. Probably imagine, you know, some of your family and all that, but what was that piece that kind of just, you know, inspired you to do it?
I think there's a lot of different mile markers that I look back on. One of the first things that I can remember is when I was probably 8 or 9. My dad had me and my brother, we planted some watermelon out in our field, and then once they grew, we took them to grocery stores and sold them. And I just remember bringing them in, looking at something that we worked hard on and like watched. It took a while for it to happen, but we took them over there, and then they just lay cash in your hands for what you've done. And I was just like, oh shoot, like there's people working like jobs under people and stuff, but I could work for myself and still get money. Like this is real money, and you can. So like stuff like that. I did the buying and selling thing with my granddad, just going to flea markets with him. He would help me pick out some things, and he still does. I'll be like, hey, pop, what's this knife worth? Something like that. But stuff like that. As far as like YouTube, I have done YouTube before. Me and my friend were like 13. He's always artistic, and he built these cardboard modeled guns, and I just thought they were like the coolest thing, and like something a 13-year-old shouldn't be doing. So I was like, hey man, I'm gonna get a video camera and we're gonna put these on YouTube. And they actually did really good over time, and we got paid for them. So we were like 13-year-olds, and I was just like, we were like willing and dealing money. It's like, here's your half. So it was like real fun. And then like I realized the opportunity for monetizing YouTube videos. And I don't know how well this would go over today, but like I was like this 14-year-old, and I was like looking up YouTube channels that weren't monetized,
Oh,
and I would look up people that may not care about their accounts anymore. They put up videos, and I would just send them messages, and I'd be like, hey man, do you want to sell your YouTube channel? I'm wanting another one with a lot of subscribers on it and stuff that. And I ended up getting one and profiting on someone else's YouTube channel after they sold to me. So it's
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I've just been always looking up for stuff to make money on, as
right, like different things, what's going on, kind of having that insight on the industry and stuff. That's super interesting as far as just like talking about YouTube and that whole landscape. You know what I mean? You'd mentioned it before as far as like the authenticity that's there, and then being able to monetize it and stuff. It's funny. Are you familiar with Twitch as well?
I'm not. So
it's pretty interesting. So in that way, Twitch is a platform that, so Amazon bought it for, I don't know exactly how many years ago, but they bought it for like $998 million or something like that. Wow. And it's primarily a platform where people will stream video games, like Fortnite or Apex or whatever, and then other people can watch them and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I've heard of Twitch. I thought you asked if I stream on it. Is that what you asked?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Just if you've heard of it.
Oh yeah. I've heard of it. I know my friends have tried it out and stuff.
Yeah.
Ninja and them are popular.
Correct. Yeah, like all that stuff. It's just crazy. You have YouTube, you have Twitch, you have now TikTok is a thing. All these attention platforms, that are creating like potential jobs. You know what I mean, for people.
Yeah. People coming out of nowhere.
Yeah, and then it's funny really trying to explain it to other people that really don't understand that landscape. You know what I mean? Where it's like, especially the game stuff, even the YouTube thing, people are like, wait a minute, how much money do these people make? Like,
where does that money come from? Who's paying that?
Yeah, exactly. It's pretty interesting. I feel like it's weird in the sense that like TV landscape, shows and all that kind of stuff. I would argue that you'll have some people like this whole thing as far as YouTube and all these, it's more of what I feel like the future will be, where someone like yourself, you can have a brand associated around you as an individual, the side grind and all that, and then you can just execute on these platforms, and then that is your business. You know what I mean? And that's it. And I feel like that's going to be more common as time goes on, because I mean, think of it, you were just mentioning it right now when you were like 13, 14 years old of doing this YouTube. And think of it right now, all the kids that are that age right now, and how immersed they are in all this stuff. You know what I mean? And it's going to become more common because then their parents were younger and they were into it and all that kind of stuff. So it's going to be weird. I feel like that's going to be the future though, which I like it just because I like endorsing an actual person that I can see versus like a really big company. You know what I mean?
Right. And I think there's a lot of opportunity out there that's left, and I think it's just getting started, really. I think people are kind of iffy about starting something on YouTube nowadays, but what you were saying, like there's a whole nother generation coming up that this could be booming with. And if it's not YouTube, crazy. It's going to be something else. So
correct, yeah, exactly. So as far as like what I'm going to try to do with my stuff and all that, and this
tell me about what you're doing.
So yeah, the podcast right here, like I said at the beginning, I'm just going to interview people like you, entrepreneurs, creators, and stuff like that, small business owners locally, like in my area in Southern California, and then basically just try to bring value to people that want to do that same thing. You know what I mean? So if like putting this on, if someone sees like has that bug inside their head of like, oh, I want to do the flip game, and hopefully they listen to the podcast, they listen to you, and then they'll get some insight, and maybe you could be that inspiration for that person or whatever,
For sure.
I think that's really cool. And that's part of what I like just as a person, just being able to kind of help and maybe potentially guide people in a way, because the world is a crazy place, but I feel like there are some good things that you can go do there. And that's what it's about. As a whole, locally, what I'm going to do is do like branding and a little bit of marketing stuff for the small business owners. And I feel like that's where most of my monetization would come from, to help them, run their different social media platforms and all that kind of stuff and market. And then I want to use the platforms like YouTube and Instagram and all that kind of stuff for the more individual space, right? So people that want to do it themselves, they can go to the Instagram, they go to YouTube, and they can figure out how to do it themselves, not monetizing those audiences, leaving the monetization up to the small business owners and the bigger companies. and then using these platforms for resources for people that want to try to do it,
Yeah. So is the town you're living in, what town are you from?
It's a city called Menifee, California.
Is it a pretty large population?
It's a decent one. I mean, so I'm not sure like what, I think it's climbing up to like 70,000 right now.
Okay.
But it's one of the fastest growing right now. Like we're just projected to grow a whole bunch, and there's a lot of businesses and stuff. And again, I think it's an opportunity in the sense like someone that is comfortable navigating some of these platforms and that likes to tell stories and stuff could offer benefits to these businesses. Yeah, some people aren't going to see that side of things, and I'm cool with it. Some people say, you don't want to waste your time just like convincing someone over and over of like, oh yeah, this is the new wave or whatever. Like, you go out there, you'll find someone that's listening, that understands and is willing to do business with you because they see the value in it,
Right. And I'm sure you don't have to have that many like clients, I guess, if you would call them that, to do well. I mean,
yeah, there's a lot of opportunity there as far as the way that you structure things and stuff. I mean, I'm gonna kind of I like what you said in the sense of I'm definitely not like an expert. Like I'm just chilling in my garage right now, you know what I mean? And I want to be authentic in that sense of like, hey, this is what I want to do. I want to really offer a good service and really dial it in, for these people. And just be upfront about that kind of stuff, you know what I mean? And just let them know, hey, I'm starting out, but with that, you'll get my, hardcore focus,
For sure.
And then hopefully as time goes on, I was thinking as an opportunity to, because I don't know if you read about like personalities and stuff like that are in the creator space, typically most of them have managers and all that, and then which is super crazy. I called a lawyer not too long ago, and he was saying that like in the YouTube space and all these like creator spaces, there's no creative union for them. So like managers and agents can take like a lot of percentage for them.
Yeah.
Whereas like in the TV and the music industry, there's a union for them. So managers and agents they're capped at a certain percentage that they can take from these creators.
I didn't know about that.
Yeah. So I thought it was really interesting. So, and I thought it was a potential opportunity for me doing that as well, you know what I mean? Building this as an agency that could potentially manage some creators and some individuals down the line and be able to connect those gaps. Like if I have small businesses, that I'm doing their marketing for, and then I have some creators on the side, I could work good brand deals for them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I see a lot of opportunity there.
Yeah, so I think that would be pretty cool. And then just taking care of them, you know what I mean? Like, and trying to build a management agency that's not super Hollywood, that's like really
they
like
see you as a person.
Yeah, like as a person, like super comfortable, and then just really taking care of the person, like understanding that, hey, like it's about them doing their thing and not us about making a whole bunch of money. Because I feel like the perception of Hollywood managers and that whole is very like money kind of thing. And I wouldn't want people doing this, like creators like yourself or anyone else, get taken advantage of and get all their money, swiped out from underneath them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think people can really, they can sense trust and sense authenticity. So I think that really pays off. And I don't know like what the statistics of business that is honest and what's not, but I feel like it's hard to find honesty, or at least something you can be sure of that's honest.
Right.
It's in demand today. It's going to pay off.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And it's just one of those things that is like kind of part of this new era, you know what I mean? Because I think a lot of people get really loud these days because, I mean, they have all the social platforms to do it. But once you're going to penetrate by being authentic and all that kind of stuff, because everyone else is just going to be screaming and yelling. Meanwhile, you're just doing your thing. You're like, yo, man, I'm just here starting from zero, whatever. It's gonna do a lot more. I see that you follow Gary Vaynerchuk, right?
Yep, listen to his podcast and stuff.
Yeah, so a lot of what that guy says, man, resonates super hardcore.
Oh, for sure. I mean, he's just a real guy. Like he lays it all on the line. He's honest. I mean, he's not trying to cut any shortcuts. He's persistent, but also working hard every day. So.
Yeah. So, and that's like a lot what he says as far as like, the branding and stuff, just being authentic and going back to like more of an old school, even though we're in this, 2020 era. It's going to be the small town vibes that kind of work for the long run branding type of stuff,
Yeah, for sure. Do you listen to him a lot?
Yeah, I definitely consume him. I would say him. He's like a good guiding light for me. And then there's another dude called Seth Godin or whatever. He's pretty. Yeah, he was pretty cool. He's a marketer dude. He's kind of like, they did a podcast together at one point, and they're essentially like, Seth is what Gary would be without all the crazy hype.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If Gary was like super like namaste kind of dude,
just his mind in a calm body.
Yeah, like that's what it is. And he's just, so it was interesting seeing their dynamic, like, because Gary's so like fire and like, and then this dude was like very intelligent, smart guy, but very calm, you know what I mean? So it was interesting seeing those two together.
I'll have to listen to that.
Yeah, it's a pretty good one. There were some awkward moments in there, so because they kind of clashed a little bit, but it was all good.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. So yeah, another question too. So as far as your the side grind and all that kind of stuff that you're doing, what are your highest ambitions for it? What do you hope to do? And then once you reach that goal, what is it that you would hope that this could turn into at your highest level ambition? I'm talking maybe 15 years from now, if you could have everything that you'd want it to turn into.
Right. Okay. So for now, I'm not quitting my job is not on the horizon. I think there's a lot of potential with the job I'm working with my family right now, and I love working with my dad and stuff. Hence the name Side Grind. I came up with something that incorporated side hustle, but I didn't want to have side hustle in it because I feel like that's overused.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I just want to stay persistent with it, and whatever it might be that I'm doing at the time, I want to document it on the channel. I don't know if I'll stay with the flipping thing forever, but I mean, if that's what I keep doing, I'll just keep going with that. But I think every project that I want to do will fall into that channel. So
okay, cool.
I plan on keeping it for a while. So I see a long future with it, and if I see myself making it, then I would probably hopefully have people working for it. Maybe I want to do more of working with other people, I guess. Sure. And then as far as like money that would come from it, I like making money. I like being able to live comfortably, but like I don't love money, and I don't think that enough money is going to make anybody happy. Right. So like I love the challenge. I want to help other people. So if I make it and I'm helping people, then I will think that I succeeded, Yeah. So if I can help people like be inspired to do something they don't like, to get out of something they don't like doing, to do something they like doing, and then be able to make a living from it, then I think I won. Yeah,
for sure. I would 100% agree, man. 100%. Cause like that was kind of the thing I was saying before. Like I grew up in a, like money was tight, and so I chased money for a little bit, and then I realized like, you think of a dollar amount, and then you get there, and then you're like, okay, then you think of another dollar amount, you get there.
For sure.
You think of another one, you get there, and then you're just like, I mean, is this what it's like the whole way up until you get to some astronomical amount of money?
Have you heard Gary? He talks about buying the New York Jets and stuff like that.
Yeah.
He's like, a part of me never wants to get there. Because I enjoy working so much. It's kind of going to be sad once I buy the New York Jets, because I'm not going to have anything to work towards anymore. Like that's my goal. Yeah. So exactly. Yeah, I see a lot to that for sure.
And it resonates. I've done that too, where I've bought something and then I'm like, oh well.
Now
okay. What? You know what I mean? I'm just like,
for sure.
Oh well, now it's over, man. Like I just liked looking at the pictures and like doing all that stuff, and then okay, I got enough money finally now to get it. Boom, and then it was done.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. I feel like it's a good thing though that you're at this point right now where you're already realizing that. You know what I mean? Because for myself, it took me a little longer to realize that. Like, oh, okay, maybe that's not what it's about. Let's go chase some things that I want. You're in a good spot. You know what I mean? With already understanding that in terms of the self-awareness.
Yeah, I think it's important to get early on. I think it's a misconception. There's a lot of entrepreneurs that come out of nowhere posting their picture in front of yachts and stuff.
Yeah.
But like, it's all fake. A lot of what you see is all not real. What you see online, right. And the happiness that people have online is also sometimes not real.
True. And Yeah, as far as like all your stuff, I'm super excited to watch it and just kind of see it, as far as like you going along your journey and stuff. It's going to be super cool. And then like you said too, just going from different projects and all that, it'll be interesting to see like what projects come maybe after the flipping stuff and all that,
Yeah, for sure. And I don't know how it's going to turn out. I don't know how long it'll take to get to $1,000 and if I want to go beyond that, because I'm not the best at it. Like, I'm just documenting it.
Yeah, and that's a good way to do it,
Yeah, I bet I'll learn a lot from other people too. Like, I've already had comments like, "Hey, you should try this." I'm like, "Okay, I'll try that."
Let's do it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll see where it goes. Coming towards the end of it, as far as you starting and kind of stuff, we already talked about it a little bit. Was it difficult for you to start? Was it not so, like on this one specifically, because I guess you already had it in the past, so was it pretty much easy? Like you were just like, all right, I'm waking up and I'm doing this today.
Yeah, I would say once I started, it was, I would argue that I haven't started yet too, but like just making that decision, I guess.
Sure.
It was kind of difficult to choose what I wanted to do. There's a lot of excuses like, well, what do I need to get a better camera or audio, or do I need to wait until I have a better idea? Like, I don't even know about this name Side Grind. Like, I just kind of came up with it on the top of my head. Like, you have a lot of things go through your head about like, well, when's the right time? But I think it's always the right time right now. So, yeah, there's probably some things that I could have done different in the past that would have been better, but I think it's better to start now than later,
Yeah, I agree.
It's better than nothing.
Yeah, I think that's probably the biggest thing. You hear it too. People get paralyzed paralysis by analysis or whatever,
Yeah, there's a lot to that.
100%. And that's what I feel like, and that's kind of what this whole thing too. Hopefully, if someone ends up listening to it, they'll understand and they'll just start with whatever they have, whether it's their iPhone or their Android or whatever the case. You don't have to buy the best stuff in order to start.
Yeah, for sure. And also, I think a big struggle is like you don't know what to do. I think like I have so many passions. Like I would love to write music.
Right.
Like, there's just so many things that like I've kind of like looked into, but I never knew what was best. And I don't know what I'll be doing in 10 years, but I know what I'm doing right now and like all that I can do right now, and that's just to pick something,
Right. And that's a good thing to do, just kind of like get your feet wet in a whole bunch of different stuff, so to speak, and then whatever feels right, then maybe kind of chase it, long term or whatever the case. Or you may just do like the whole thing where you keep it open and you can literally do a whole bunch of different things as you grow up and stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure. I think just starting something, you get more efficient with your time. So in a few years, I might see like, oh, I can add something else to this. But maybe not. Yeah. I'll probably have a family and all my spare time will be consumed. So I don't know.
Yeah. I know. And that's another thing too, because I'm oddly thankful. Like, I have a girlfriend and stuff, but I'm not married and I don't have kids at the moment or anything like that. So that's a whole nother ball game. Like,
oh man,
salute to the guys that are out there doing it. You know what I mean? The whole nine with the family and the whole hustle.
Yeah, I have
it's crazy.
Cousin that he does a YouTube channel. He builds cars and stuff, and he has kids. He has 2 little boys, and he's just like, they're just running around the whole video, and he's just accepted it. And he'll just be like holding one while he's talking. Like, it's cool to see him make it work though.
Yeah, and then again, that's another authentic part that's going to resonate with a lot of people. So.
Oh, dude, yeah. People love real people, and when they just love them, like, oh, you're just a regular dude, and you're doing this. I'm like, yeah.
Exactly, and then that's where the whole people, like, someone that doesn't like watch YouTube or whatever, or doesn't understand it, they're like, wait, why would you buy someone's shirt like that or whatever? Like, why would you buy their merch? Or you're like, because homie's out there doing it with his kids and stuff. Like, I'm helping this guy. Like, I'm not buying it from some big corporation that's gonna like split that money up into God knows what. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's helping pay their bills. So it'll be interesting to see where that goes. One quick question before we wind this down. So what are your thoughts on TikTok and stuff right now? Because it's kind of a hot thing right now.
Booming. Yeah. I heard. I think I downloaded it for the first time maybe 6 months ago.
Yeah.
And I just kind of looked around on it, kind of put it away for a while, and then I decided to do YouTube before I decided to do TikTok videos.
Oh, okay.
And I took some time and I just watched some different videos, and I just saw what was doing really good, and I kind of disregard any assumptions that I have when I'm looking at like what does well, because I have my ideas, but I want to gather data for myself. So I saw all these different things, and then I just kind of put together like my format and then what I thought would do well. And I posted 3 videos, just trying to be unique and different, but also like grabbing the attention of people that I think are going to watch it. I put up like 3 videos at one time, and then I just left it for a couple days, and I logged in after 2 days, and I was like, what just happened?
That's awesome. That's so funny.
And I don't want that to get to my head either, because like TikTok could be gone tomorrow. But
100%.
I made the decision beforehand that I don't care who's gonna watch my videos. I'm just gonna keep posting, because I think that's what it takes. It's like, if you can be happy just posting when nobody's watching, then you'll be fine.
Yeah, just laser focus, like kind of have the blinders on, do your thing, document what you want to get out there, and then like you said, you like helping people, so if you feel like you're doing that and all that kind of stuff, then you're pretty much good to go.
Yeah, even if it's just one person, shoot.
Exactly. That's pretty cool. So I'm gonna wind this episode down. I want to give it to you if you want to give some advice. If anyone's listening, say someone's maybe thinking about reselling. If you want to leave with your last 2 cents and stuff, let them know your advice.
All right, yeah, kind of what we were just talking about. Pick something that you're going to be passionate about, but if you're still a little unsure, if you have a lot of passions, then just pick one and then just run hard.
Yeah, for sure. That's good advice, man. I definitely agree with you. I appreciate you deeply for, agreeing to do this. I'm like some dude in his garage in California, and you agreed to do that. That was super cool. Yeah, that was really nice of you, man.
There's like 3 people that reached out to me, I think, about podcasts, and I listened to a couple of them, and they were just like screaming at me from the get-go. I listened to yours. You told me it was. You're just like, I'm just this dude in my bedroom. I like this guy.
Yeah. Okay. Cool, man. Yeah. I really appreciate that. So, let's stay connected, man. I'm definitely gonna watch, what you're doing and stuff like that. I'll hit you up if I ever have any questions or kind of get your insight on some stuff too, because I feel like you have a really good head on your shoulders and all that stuff. So I deeply appreciate it, man. So who knows? Maybe we'll meet up someday. And that's the kind of crazy thing about all this stuff, man, because we really don't know where all this goes.
Yeah, we're just throwing it out there.
The networking and all that kind of stuff. Like it's a crazy time. But again, thank you a lot. All right, that's the end of the episode, guys. Behind the Hustle, episode 2. With Mason Brown, the Side Grind. I'm gonna link all his links and stuff for YouTube, TikTok, all that good stuff, so you can find out what he's about and all the different projects that he's gonna be doing. Take a look at it. I would really appreciate it. Thanks.
It's fun.